What's going on? So I've had my Retroid Pocket 2 for about 6 or 7 months now, and in the past few weeks, the left analog stick has started to drift. So today, I'm gonna see if we can fix that. If you enjoy tech and gaming videos, don't forget to subscribe for more content. But for now, let's get into this fix. So the drift initially started a few weeks ago, and it wouldn't happen very often. But as I continued to use it, the drift got much worse, and now it's to the point where it's constant. A few ways to tell if it is drifting is to put the system into mouse mode and move the stick around, and see if it continues to move in any direction. You can also test it in the gamepad test application, and it should show that the stick is slightly moving in a direction. A quick fix to try if this is happening to you is to recalibrate the stick and see if that works. To do this, go into the gamepad mode settings and select calibrate left joystick. For me, it would work for a little bit, but then it would go right back to drifting. So I knew I would either have to replace the stick or get a whole new system. I figured since I had already taken the console apart when updating it to Android 8.1, I would try to replace the stick before buying a new one. I looked into getting another stick that looks the same, but I couldn't find anything online. When I was looking that up, I came across some teardown guides, and in the pictures, the stick's ribbon cables looked like the PS Vita sticks. So I ordered one of those to try to replace it. So let's see how it goes. To start, you're gonna need a few tools. First, you will need a Phillips head screwdriver with a thin enough tip to fit into the screw holes. I like to have a magnetic dish for the screws so you don't lose them, some sort of plastic pry tool to open up the body of the unit, and some tweezers. You want to start by turning the system off and removing the SD card. Next, take the tweezers and remove the rubber screw hole covers. I'm sure you could use various other things to get these out, but this was the easiest way for me. Next, take out the 4 screws underneath of those covers to separate the back cover. Now, to remove the back cover, you will need some sort of plastic pry tools. The softer the better, because the plastic on the Retroid Pocket 2 can get damaged pretty easily. The best way that I found to get it open was to start with one of the bottom corners and pry that open first, then insert something in there to keep it open as you move to the next corner. When opening it up this time, I ended up breaking some of the tabs holding it together, and I'm not really sure how to prevent this from happening. So just be careful and take your time to do as little damage as possible to the system. Once you have the back separated, you need to disconnect the battery from the board. You just have to gently pull the cable out of the slot and set the back to the side. Now that the back is completely off, you need to gently remove these 2 ribbon cables. You have to flip up the little latches and carefully pull out the cables. There are 2 screws in each trigger. You need to remove those, then remove the whole triggers themselves. To free the board, you have to unscrew these 5 screws here, and the board should be loose. Make sure you took out the SD card here, or you could break it, and remove the thumb cap on the right digital pad. I used the tweezers with the rubber covers still on them to pry the board up. Be careful with the ports on the top and the audio jack and Wi-Fi antenna at the bottom during this part. My analog stick was actually glued in, so I wasn't able to remove it very easily. To make all this a little bit easier, I disconnected the Wi-Fi antenna to just remove the whole board from the shell. I ended up just peeling away the glue until it popped out. After that was out, I thought the new one would just kind of fit right in and I would be done. But I should have known that nothing is ever that easy for me. The stick I bought had one edge that was more rounded than the original, so after trying to make it fit for a few minutes, I ended up taking some nail clippers and trimming the plastic down. I was very careful not to cut the ribbon cable here. Now even with those cut, it still didn't fit in, so I took a razor blade and scraped down the plastic that goes around the stick, and that ended up working. If you buy a stick like this one with the ribbon cable on the edge of it, be careful when sliding it in because it did get caught on the edge of the plastic and got a little crushed. Luckily it still worked, but these ribbon cables can be pretty fragile. Once the stick was in securely, I started to put the board back in and reconnected all the cables to test and see if the new stick worked. After I verified that, I fully put the board back into the console and double checked that everything worked. It all worked, so I finally put the screws and screw covers back in and the installation was complete. Here's the final product, and it looks a little better than I expected. I thought that I would hate the way it looked with the sticks not matching, but it's not as noticeable as I thought, at least to me. The only problem I have with it so far is the actual stick is a little bit more loose than the original stick and the original PS Vita sticks, so maybe I got a bad one or maybe it's just cheap, not sure. There is a way to replace the actual stick part, so I might buy another stick that will hopefully be a bit better quality and try and swap it with the original top part. So if you want to see that, you can follow me on Twitter at Marco1458 and I'll post a picture there when I do it. In the end, I would say it was a success because at least there isn't any more stick drift. And in use, it actually feels pretty good. I played through the whole Great Dooku tree in Ocarina of Time and didn't have any control issues with it at all. That was my fix for analog stick drift on the Retroid Pocket 2. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments, or you can come talk to me live on Twitch. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more tech and gaming content. Thanks for watching.
Watch the flow of my movements as I demonstrate.
Why does that move so good?